We can't go into the prison, but we can drive around the prison grounds. It used to be the site of Missouri Lunatic Asylum 4. I think this is the mental health center here. Most of the buildings from the original campus, though, I believe, were torn down. I don't even know if we'll be able to see any. I know that the old administration building still stands. See, it's Farmington Correctional Center now. And I don't know, I've never been here. So let's just see if we can capture anything. We'll go slow. You know, these look like newer buildings. And even houses. Let's see. I'd love to see the old administration building. But it's not looking that way because now I gotta turn away from it. I don't see any old buildings though left over from the hospital. This is the sheriff's department. That's the building that is haunted. Okay, I think this may or may not be the road. That may be the road. But this is the building that is said to be haunted. This is the jail. No, no. And was built over an old dairy farm. Or the dairy barn. Maybe it's the next road. And where there's an old man in overalls. Alright, we're on an adventure for sure. And a line cook, a female line cook. They say there's at least 6 ghosts in that building, the sheriff's department. This is the road to the cemetery. I finally got it. Alright, Pendulum Road. Now, see, that's the sheriff's department. And the cemetery sits back this way, and they say that the cemetery is the reason for the haunting. Maybe we'll find out. Now the cemetery sits about half mile south of the original Lunatic Asylum's campus. Okay, here it is. A couple of friends here, and that's them in the background. Michelle and Kathy, if you can see them. The Lunatic Asylum, built in 1903. It was one of 5 that the state of Missouri had built, and it was this way. It was north of the cemetery. And what you see there now is a prison. Bench used to sit around the cemetery, and these are the original gate pillars. The fence is no longer here, but they do have this memorial. The 1850s, the state of Missouri first opened the Lunatic Asylum #1, and that was in Fulton, Missouri. And it's still in operation. It houses the state's criminally insane. The next one to open was in 1869. It was the St. Louis County Lunatic Asylum. Original building still stands, but all the additions have been torn down. They use it as a storage facility, and they do have some state offices that are there. The third facility, Lunatic Asylum 2, and I did a video on there because it's a museum now. Part of it is, and the other part is a prison. And I couldn't go to that cemetery because it's on the prison property. You can't get any further than the memorial. It's in St. Joseph's, Missouri. Opened in 1874. And then number 3 opened in 1887 in Nevada, Missouri. And it closed in 1991. And the main buildings were torn down in 1998. Today we're at Missouri State Lunatic Asylum #4 in the cemetery, which they buried people chronologically with the oldest graves up front. So it's cool, unless I'm going the wrong way. The first grave is either there or it's down there. It opened January 1903 and it had 7 patients. By 1930, it had over 1,000 patients. In 1924, they introduced hydrotherapy. In 1940, they started doing lobotomies. In 1942, they started doing shock therapy. In the 1960s, because they had better medications, better treatments, better facilities, that's when the Lunatic Asylum started to decline. By 1987, they converted most of the buildings to the prison. First grave was on December 29th, 1903, and the last grave was December 29th, 1960. Frank, were you the first person buried in this cemetery? Got a digital recorder down here on Mr. Ford's tombstone, which seems to be knocked over. If anybody wants to speak to me, they can talk into this recorder by J.T. Ford's grave. Is there anybody here? Lunatic Asylum #4 cemetery has the most records. None of the records were lost or burned up in fire like some of the other asylums. Now, the interesting thing about the jail, which I think I said before, they claim it's haunted. Both deputies and inmates claim the jail is haunted by 6 ghosts. When you're in there, you hear things, you see things move, you see apparitions, shadows. And in the basement, you'll see an old man or a middle-aged man in bib overalls and a ball cap walking around or sitting there. And you also see him roaming the grounds. Also, there's a female line cook they claim they see. Now, the entire cemetery consists of 1.9 acres. There's 24 sections, each containing 50 graves. It's estimated that there's 1,100 people buried here. In 1978 is when they decided to restore it. It sat abandoned from 1960 to 1978. catch up with Michelle and Kathy. I think that they are doing dowsing rods, which I definitely want to try that again. And I want to check out these wooden crosses to see if maybe they say anything. So let's just walk down here. It's an old tree. But I bet it's seen some things. I wonder why it's got, oh, it's got like an orange moss growing on the back. Is there anybody here who wants to talk to us? I have this digital recorder in my pocket. It's probably picking up a lot of walking noises. And I have this camera. If you talk into either one of those devices, I can't hear you now, but I could hear you later. Oh, that's a name. Jazz Scrunchfield. Marshall Cole. Are you guys still here? Is there anybody here? Were you a patient at the Lunatic Asylum? Were you sick? Oh, this is kind of like spread open here. Were you suffering? There's one down here with a stone on it. I wonder why. Thomas Lawrence. Mary Warner. Allery, I like that name. Alba. J.N.O. Harris. Are you guys here? I wonder why this person was buried so far away. And there's Helen. You can really read hers. Helen Beckett. Jazz Rawlings. And then the wooden crosses with no names. Did any of you guys receive hydrotherapy? Did any of you guys have a lobotomy? To help you forget? To help you stay calm? What about shock therapy? Yeah, see the wooden crosses start in this row. But there's a couple of stones. And this looks like a path. Oh, I wonder if it makes a cross. Because remember right there in the middle? There's a path. And then this path. I bet it makes a cross. But I don't know why there's stones over here. But that's where the wooden crosses start. Miles Howland, 1936. Only 30 years old. That's really young. Are you here, Miles? Over here, though, is like a stone like those. I don't know why it's buried so far from the others. That's an old one, too.
Flowers? Yeah, I did. I didn't see that one.
D.C. Hahn.
Yeah, I really can't.
October 3rd, 1878, and died in 37. So I guess they started burying people in this section in the 30s. It looks like there's a shack or something back here.
Oh, it does.
Oh, somebody's just fallen over. Does it bother you that no one knows your names? That they didn't put your names on the crosses? Does it bother you that your cross has fallen over? Did you die in the 30s and 40s? Let's see what this stone says back here. Oh, and your cross is broken. Wish I would have brought a hammer and some nails. 45. So it is true that they're older up in front and newer in the back. Sophia Dilger? Did you have an angel? You had an angel. And flowers. Does your family come visit? And there's Michelle checking out that shack. Probably somebody's property. Well, I think I'm gonna go to this grave down here. I bet there's some that don't have a headstone. And there's Kathy. How are the Dowsing Rods doing? Are they doing good?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Much better than Blackwell?
Yeah, really good. I got a little bit of action right over there with that stone, that headstone. It went right like that really fast. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. You just ask, is anybody here? Or are you here, Suzanne? Would you like to talk to me? And then boom, this thing goes like that. It's pretty cool.
Gonna have to try it. She's back here. It looked like there's an old
Exploring.
shed or something back here. So what you got? I bet it was part of the asylum at one time.
Probably.
It looks like a stone structure. Maybe a well? Is it a well, maybe?
Well, it's all dirt on the inside.
Dirt?
Uh-huh. And there's like a window, like a little small hole in the roof.
Is there anybody back here? Looks cool. Is that stone or metal?
Looks like metal.
Yeah, because it looks rusted. Oh, yeah. That time of year. Oh, that's like metal shingles on it. Snake time of year. Spiders, too.
Anybody back here with us?
Very cool. Yeah, there's like a little window in there.
You make these rods cross? I'm holding 2 rods in my hand.
Can you tell me what this was used for?
New.
It's kind of weird. It's like a little house.
Move 'em if you're here with
Chicken
these
coop,
guys here.
maybe? I have no idea. It's a nice, sturdy structure, though.
Nobody's here. KO.
Are you hiding in here? Do you live in here? Was this part of the lunatic asylum? Is there anybody here that wants to talk to us? Can you tell us what this building is? Okay. I'm gonna go talk to the spirits in the graveyard. If you like to follow me, you can.
Cool little place.
Yeah. I know I've been wanting to come down here for a while. Hmm. So, either there's empty grave spaces or this guy right here is the last one buried. Want to do a spirit box session?
Sure.
Were you a patient at the lunatic asylum? There we go. Were you sick? Did you die there? Are you getting anything? Don't be afraid of us. If you're here, come down here and talk to us. If there's anybody here that wants to talk to us, come closer to us. We got ways we can hear you. If you want to communicate.
Is there someone here that would like to talk to us? Go ahead and make these rods cross. You've got the energy. You can do it.
Good job.
Good job. Keep going. Keep going. Yes.
Can you tell us your name?
What is your name?
You can use this box here to tell us your name. Do you know how to do that?
Can you move my rod back to starting position?
When did you die?
Keep going.
That's so cool.
Keep going. Keep moving it.
Do you feel like a heaviness on it too when it moves? I know that's so cool. You gotta try on yourself. Yeah, awesome.
Go ahead and open it all the way back up. Starting position.
So we can hear what your voice sounds like? Is that you trying to talk? Did you live here at the asylum? Did you work here at the asylum? Did you die here at the asylum?
I'm in the middle.
Oh. Is there someone here? Bring the other rod toward me if there's someone here. Or if you're standing over there, make that rod move that way. point this rod to where you're standing. Or sitting.
Or laying.
Do you want to speak to us? You want to sleep? Are we waking you? Very good. So we're not waking you. Is that a no? I think we're going to go walk and try a different grave. Will you follow us if we do? No? Why not? You made it touch me. Do you want to go back to sleep? Can you say my name?
Can you say Shannon?
Can you say Michelle? Do you want me to get out my pendulum?
Would you like to talk to us more?
We've got another way you can talk to us through my friend Iva. Hi, Iva. Are there any spirits in this cemetery? Yes. Iva, stop. Do any of the spirits want to speak with us? I don't know. Well, you're a lot of help. This is my pendulum, Iva. She won't hurt you, but you can give her the answers to our questions, and she'll tell us. Is anybody here from the Lunatic Asylum? No, she's shaking. That's not me shaking. Looks like a yes. Iva, stop. Look at that, and it's the wind's blowing too. And she's dead stopped. Tell me that ain't real. Whether her answers are correct, I don't know. She did an I don't know. Did you see that? You're funny, Iva. Are there any spirits in this cemetery who are suffering? Yes. Iva, stop. Is there anything we can do to help these spirits that are suffering? Yes. Iva, stop. Can you tell the spirits to tell us on that machine what it is we can do? Yes. Iva, stop. Do these spirits know they can cross over? I don't know. Iva, stop. Those spirits that are here, you can cross over. You don't have to stay here anymore. You don't have to suffer anymore. The asylum's gone. You're cured. You can go home. You can cross over into the light and find peace. Iva, do they know they can find peace? No. Iva, stop. Do they hear me? Do the spirits hear me? Yes. Iva, stop. Do they know what crossing over is? Yes. she won't give me an answer. It gets hard. Do they want to cross over? I don't know. Iva, stop. Is there something preventing them from crossing over? Is there an answer in there somewhere, Iva? That's me shaking now from laughing. Is there something here that prevents the spirits from crossing over? Is there any negative spirits here, Iva? I don't know. Iva, stop. Anybody else got a question?
Are there any kids here?
Looks like a maybe and an I don't know together. Are there children here, Iva? Wait, that's counterclockwise, so that's no. But what about the twins? Maybe they were adults? Yeah. Iva, are there any children buried in this cemetery? Could you please answer, Iva?
I'm not sure if I
Look at her just shake.
Or if somebody else down.
Oh, did it work?
I don't know. I don't know if it was me maybe that moved a certain way. I don't know. But if somebody just moved this rod, can you move it back out to the center?
If that's you talking to us, can you say the word love? Can all the spirits in this cemetery come closer to us? Can you talk to us? Did someone hurt you? Yes.
Were you killed? Did you die from the hand of someone else?
Do you visit the prisoners? Do you visit the prisoners that are up there on the hill? That sounded like a yes. Are you a prisoner? That's possible too. Even not buried here. Are you here from the correctional facility? Do you haunt the inmates? I'd like to come back and visit again sometime. We really appreciate you letting us be here. We appreciate you talking to us, coming near us. Is there anything else you want to say? Okay. I'm going to turn my machines off now.